God, it feels like a while since I did this. What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Ani-mity. And no, that is not me trying to copy Goldstar's old intro. Goldie, I know if you're watching this, that's not what this is about. I promise, I swear. Welcome back to the channel. I'm so excited to be getting back to this. I'm so excited for a lot of things I'm going to get to do. I'm really glad that I'm finally back. And I have so many things that I'm really excited that I'm going to finally be able to get to do. I have a video I'm going to be recording in literally a few hours from now, which is going to be really, really cool. But I can't start the channel with that video, unfortunately. As awesome as that video is going to be, I can't start the channel off like that. I can't start this new year with that video. I got to do this right. And the way I'm going to be doing this is I'm going to be talking about the absolutely amazing episode that I got to see of the one, the only, The Owl House. So let's do this and hope that I have a little less, oh my god, and a little more actually somewhat intelligent things to say with this one. There's a lot I have to unpack with this, I'm going to say. Like, I'm really glad, hold it. Before I keep going, spoiler warning for anyone watching this at home. If you haven't seen the Owl House episode, go watch it. It's amazing. You will not be disappointed, I promise. Okay, back to what I was saying. So, there's a lot to unpack with this one. I will say this episode gave me a lot of things that I kind of really wanted, both in, I guess, a lore sense and in developing the entire world of the Owl House, as well as just story-wise and understanding where the pieces are on the board. So, I mean, seeing the beginning of this episode is just literally where we left off from King's Tide. It's showing what happened to King, what happened to Ida, what happened to basically the entire demon realm since the Collector was freed. I love the little moment with Lilith and Hooty. I'm going to say that also, just that was really, really cute, and I love seeing Lilith standing up for her nephew, and even saying, just stay away from my nephew. I love that. That was such a cute moment. I love that. There are also just so many things I had it just in that scene. I mean, the Collector turning Lilith and Hooty into toys was interesting, and I guess is part of the whole playing pretend part for the Owl House game that King is suggesting, which is interesting. I was wondering where they were going to go with that. It makes sense now they're saying they're acting out many of Luz's different adventures. I mean, that's a thing that King has to draw on for reference for adventures. So it's interesting to see that's how they ended up going about with that. The Collectors both scared me and made me so sad over this entire episode. Like, the scene where, and I guess I'll talk a little bit more about this in a second, where he goes up to Ida and is like, wanna play? Scared the living bejesus, and seeing what he's done to all these people and seeing what happens when you push him absolutely boggles my mind just how scary this little kid is. And then it also just opens so many other questions about collectors in general. Like, what are collectors? And again, I'll get to that a bit more in a second. So one thing that also, I guess, confused me as to why it didn't play quite as big a role as I thought it would, the Owl Beast. Like I know King said that the Owl Beast is the reason why they don't want to get near the Collector. Number one, I'm wondering what the Owl Beast and the Collector connection is, because the Owl Beast definitely reacted when it saw the Collector. So I'm wondering what that's all about. And then I'm just wondering why it didn't end up playing that big of a role in all of this. It confuses me a little bit. I mean, like, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. I mean, like, Ida kind of had her whole resolution with the Owl Beast already, and I'm sure in some way, shape, or form, the curse is going to be part of, I guess, maybe beating the Collector, or maybe being, like, an alternative to beating the Collector if King can't end up doing the job, or if King is taken out of the formula in some way, shape, or form. So, I guess I can see where they're going with that. I'm just curious to see what the general direction is going to be with it. And then we finally get Luz and everyone going back to the Demon Realm. I am wondering if Luz does have some kind of special connection to that space in between the portal and the in between the dimensions, I mean. Because I've heard a lot of people online saying that Luz is the only one who's ever really seen that, like, pocket area before. I mean, first time we all assumed that it was just because she hadn't built a correct portal, so maybe that was why she was able to go there. But now from this, and given that we didn't see anyone else, we're either reading into it too much and just assuming a little bit about it, or maybe it is that only she can see that area. Which, either way, I find really fascinating. And then also the little Titan thing that we saw in there. Like, I definitely think that is a Titan. I just have no idea who it's supposed to be. Because also, it could very well be those hunter people, the people who worship the Collector, which we haven't seen them since King sealed them away. But, I mean, who knows what can happen with them? I mean, like, there's very much a chance that, like, a portal could technically be built to that realm where the Titan Collectors are. So, that very well could have been a Titan Collector that we were seeing in there, which, again, I'm curious to see kind of what that leads into, if that leads into anything, if that's important for anything, which I'm gonna kind of assume that it is, but we'll see. Seeing the Demon Realm changed as much as it did was also just haunting. And, like, I guess I am noticing the little bit of a trend. I haven't seen Amphibia yet, but, like, I have heard people say, like, it kind of goes the weird Mageddon route that they do in Gravity Falls, and that, like, this is, like, the remixed version of the Demon Realm now. This is a sign that the Collector's won, that he's taken over, which scares me and also not, because, I mean, like, theoretically, the Collector could release everyone, and then everything is kind of fine. But, I don't know, it still has that vibe that it's still, like, not really the Demon Realm that it needs to go back to. And I guess seeing, like, just the idea that the Collector has such avid control over absolutely everyone is a little bit concerning, and also just made me wonder, like, who was under their control. I did think Ida would have been, like, the first to fall given the opening shot. It interests me that Terra was not just instantly under everyone's control with the other bards, but I guess she's kind of got that cranky vibe to her, which isn't really Ida, but I guess if you squint hard enough, you can see it as Ida. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't think that connection was all that strong, but then again, it kind of makes sense as, like, you can't get Ida to play because of the whole Owl Beast excuse. So, I mean, that's fine, I guess. I don't know. Just like the fact that there are some people who I just was wishing to see them just thrown to the wayside with all this, like Odalia, that aren't in the control of the Collector, which I just find interesting. And then we finally get to the Owl House. Debatably the one place that wasn't touched by anything of the Collector. And the one place that I thought would have had, like, the most importance to this entire, like, Owl House game. Like, I was certain that King would have brought him back there at one point or another, which he just never did. And I guess, like, that's good because that's a safe haven for them. But also just, like, it was weird. I'm also just, this is one thing I will say I definitely love about the Owl House now, is just, like, we got this really awesome scene where we got to see more of Willow, got to see more of Gus, and it's like, the show has never been exclusively focused around Luz. I think I mentioned this in my Why I Love Amity video. It never focuses just on Luz. It's about the characters around Luz just as much, and I love that about it. And getting to see that Willow is just not okay after everything that happened is one of the things that makes the show just so much more grounding. And I love getting to see that. And then there's, I was gonna say before, the expansion of lore, an expansion of, like, the world itself, in learning a little bit more about Ghost, which has become hands down my favorite talisman by far. I know Luz gets her talisman by the end of this episode, and I'm interested to see kind of how that builds into Luz's character and builds into everything that makes Luz who she is. But I love Ghost, and just like what Ghost represents as far as like the arc that Amity has gone through, and just like hearing that finally and seeing it in action here. God, I love Ghost so much, and also I just love cats, and Ghost is really, really cute. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, so seeing all of that was very interesting, and then going back to why can I not remember the school name? Hexside. There we go. Hexside. I knew it would come back to me at one point. Going back to Hexside, not a lot surprised me about that, to be honest. Like, I mean, when you have like the adult figures in chains and such, I kind of expected that things were gonna go really, really bad, and the kids were gonna take over. None of that surprised me. It surprised me to see that Emera and Edric somehow survived the puppetification, but I'm really glad that they did, because I wanted to make sure that they would survive. I'm hoping that, why can I not remember his name? I keep calling him Alador, because of that in my head I keep thinking he's Alador because of the abomination magic. Oh no, I was right, it is Alador, huh? For whatever reason, I kept calling him a different name. What was it? Oh, Darius, that's what it was. I kept calling him Darius. Because I kept thinking that Darius was Alador because of abomination stuff, yada yada yada. So, I'm hoping that Alador is also somewhere in all of this. If he's okay, I'm hoping that, you know, he didn't get turned into a puppet, that maybe he's like leading a secret resistance somewhere or something like that. And I'm sure that's somehow going to lead into it. Or maybe I just missed him, which there's always a possibility of that. So, we'll see how that goes. I absolutely called it when I saw Kikimora and her robot thing. Like, I couldn't understand, like, I didn't look like Kikimora, but I was like, I've seen that Gold Fang before. I've seen that build, and there's something about that voice, which, it didn't click to me that that was Kikimora's voice when I heard it, but I was like, you're not fooling anyone, bud. That's Kikimora, 100%. Not to say I really enjoyed her arc, but I mean, like, I kind of do like that this kind of zones in on the, like, unoriginality to her, and I mean, like, not in terms of, like, the writing that went into her. The writing went into her is perfect, but just, like, her trying to, as Luz put it, copying Belos's scare everyone into submission tactic. Like, I love getting to see that, because, I mean, like, Kikimora, never really liked her as a character, but I always knew her as, like, just someone wrapped so tightly around what Belos wanted and what Belos was trying to do. So I guess seeing that here in full effect was really interesting for me to see. Then we get to Belos, which I'm a little confused when it comes to him. Not so much in just, like, what he's trying to do. Like, what he's trying to do obviously makes sense, but it's just more so seeing that he needed a body, I guess, surprises me. It's like, how did he survive so long if he needs a body? Or I guess, like, it makes sense in that, like, maybe he doesn't need a body to survive, but he just needs a body to actually be able to do things. 'Cause, I mean, like, he seemed fully capable of acting when he was in King's Tide. Like, I thought he could sustain that form. But I guess maybe not, and that's why he needs a body. I'm also surprised that he can possess anyone. Like, in my head, it made sense that he possessed Hunter, because Hunter and him kind of share some of the similar DNA. So, like, in my head, that made sense. It makes a little less sense as to how he's able to possess others. Like, if possessing Odalia was on the table, I guess with possessing Rain, it makes a little more sense because he's a puppet now. But, like, that still feels like another human being, which, to me, that confuses me as to how he was able to possess him, or how he would have been able to possess the Collector if he tried for that. So, there's some questions about that, but at the end of the day, like, Bellows is still doing Bellows things, and I mean, Bellows is one of my absolute favorite villains by far, and like getting to see that he's still kicking, that he's still able to be as big a role in the finale as he is interesting to me, and I'm interested to see how that's going to play into the final episode. And I guess now we get to the end with Stringbean's reveal. I loved the animation that went into Stringbean's actual like hatching, into Luz realizing kind of what it is she needed to accept to herself to be able to hatch her talisman. That is something I think that so many people can relate to, and it's why I've always said that Luz is one of the most relatable characters, and just that, like, everyone wants to be understood. Everyone wants to be heard. Everyone wants to the core of their being, be understood. And that Luz finally has that now and finally understands that now, I think is such a big step for her character overall. And I'm interested to see kind of how Stringbean plays more into that as we get into the final episode. It's like a shame now. I would have wanted to have seen so many episodes of Luz like learning how to use a talisman from Ida or something like that. And God, the next episode's gonna absolutely destroy me, because when Ida and Luz see each other again, it's gonna that next episode's gonna absolutely destroy me, and I'm not ready for it. I'm glad that we have so much time before the next one. Just and then it's also just gonna say, I'm really hoping next episode we're also gonna get some explanation as to Evelyn, or if that's the Flapjack's real name. I'm interested to see how Flapjack is gonna play into a lot of things with Hunter. Like, I'm wondering what the whole story with Evelyn is, and I'm assuming that we're finally gonna get the full story with the next episode. At least I'm hoping that fits into everything. Man, we got so many things that we got to do with that last episode that I'm wondering how they're gonna fit everything into it all. But I'm sure they'll find some way of doing it. I'm nervous now, man. I'm nervous. This is one of my favorite shows. I want to see it go off on the highest note that it can. But I mean, I trust the crew. I trust everyone there. I know that they absolutely know what they're doing, and I'm sure everything's going to turn out fine. I just got to wait and see the episode. We all got to wait and see the episode. But yeah, that's my general thoughts on everything that happened with the episode. That's my general review. Absolutely love this episode. I mean, like, they went absolutely all out with everything, and it's a shame, because I mean, like, I really would have wanted to have seen so much more from this show, and it is really a shame that we're here at the end, but, you know, as they say, everything has its time, and eventually everything has to come, every good thing has to come to an end, and this is, it hurts to say it, the end of the Owl House. And I'm not ready for it. I love the show absolutely so much. The show has meant so much for me ever since starting to watch it, and it's meant so much more for me as far as just my development and my courage into doing so many things this year and into so many other things. So if anyone who's a fan of the Owl House and watching, if anyone who's connected to the Owls in any way, shape, or form, just like, I want you to know I absolutely love this show to pieces, and thank you to everyone who worked so hard on that show for making it what it is. Thank you guys so much for making this the amazing show that I've gotten to love with all my heart. I really don't know what's going to be next for... I mean, I know what's going to be next for that amazing crew and what they're going to do next, but I'm hoping that it's going to be something amazing. I know it's going to be, and I wish them all nothing but the best. With that all being said, I think I'm going to wrap this video up here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you guys want to see next in the comments down below. I have a lot of really fun projects coming your guys' way very, very soon. And I'm really excited to be able to get to do all of them. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to do videos for. There's some factors which I'm not going to get into in this video. I might do another video just talking about what's going on with stuff like that. But But yeah, so just so far, so far so good. We'll see how this goes, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.